Thanks for joining us here on our YouTube channel. This is something a little bit special, something we've never done before. But before the match, why don't we just have a little discussion? I'm here with Emil Heskey and David James. You might have seen them on the telly. We're going to have a bit more of a casual discussion. So a couple of things I want to bring up. Firstly, Steven Gerrard returning to his former stomping ground, the club that he loves and represented for so many years. Thinking back on all those years ago, you were here at the club as he was coming through and breaking into the first team. Were you on the pitch when he made his debut?
I was.
You were. What was he like back then? Did you envision him becoming a manager? Did he have that personality?
You didn't really ask that question, did you?
I did.
Okay. No, I mean, Steve was a teenager.
Yeah.
So you don't. There's no way that you look at a teenager and think they're going to become manager. I say that. But what I found with him, and I was 28, 29 years old. So I was arguably at that time at the end of my career, even though I managed to carry on for many years after. So my interest in Stevie G, the youngster, wasn't.
But did he have a name in the system at the time?
What I think I found with Stevie was he was quiet, considered. And I think because of his injury issues, there was always like a question mark over whether Stevie was ever going to be fit enough to be a player. So I wouldn't say I thought of him as being a manager, but because he got into the England squad quite soon, when you saw him playing for England, then obviously established himself as an Liverpool regular and England regular, you could see that there was something different about him. And as I say, I think his nature suited him towards management, not his tactical prowess.
Well, I asked that because 12, 13 years later, whatever it was, you're still playing with him, this time for England. And you, of course, you were 40 at the time, and obviously just the 2010 World Cup. What about then? What about the qualities that he showed many years down the road?
Yeah, the one thing I would say about Stevie G, Jamie Carragher in particular, and listening to Michael Owen, these three guys who came from the same sort of era, if you like, were brought up through the same system, had such an understanding of the game. And I remember after 2010 sitting in the hotel with Jamie Carragher and listening to him talking about the game that we just played, and I was like, you could be a coach, you could be a manager. Stevie was quiet, not like Jamie who would sit down and talk about it, but at the same time, you could tell by the way they played, they understood the game. And I said at the beginning of the show here, you know, Steve's a great manager, probably a great coach, but I would argue
that's
favouritism.
That's favouritism.
Free card break?
I didn't get a hello. I'm upset.
Oh, you didn't play for Villa.
No, that's true.
Yeah, so Stevie understood the game, and it's the one thing about management which is so important, which people misunderstand. I think you don't need to be the best coach. Arguably, you don't need to be the best manager. You need someone alongside you who can do the bit that you can't. And with Stevie, I think his managerial career, because of his nature, is going to be the strongest point, as long as he's got the right coaching people around him. Neil Cutler, as I said, goalkeeping coach. We just had a quick conversation about Martinez, which I love, because he was talking about stuff which I talk about with you a lot, that people don't identify in goalkeeping coaches. So got the right team around you, gives you the best chance to be successful.
I think that's the key. If you look at, I'll give Martin O'Neill, for instance. Martin O'Neill was never on the pitch. Everyone thinks that he's this coach. No, he's never on the pitch. He had coaches, but he was the man manager above that, orchestrating everything. So when it came to the game, we wanted to run for a brick wall for him. As long as you've got the right people around you, and this goes for not just for management, for the team and the players. Because my deficiencies, Michael would take care of. His deficiencies, I would take care of, and then vice versa with the two centre backs as well. So you just build your right team around you. You can always build something, an empire.
Are you saying that because you know I'm with Martin O'Neill next week?
Oh, no,
are you saying that just because of that?
Okay. And with another assist.
Exactly. We'll play that before the show just for him. And now I asked James about his first instance with Steven Gerrard, because when you came to the club, it was a very different Steven Gerrard. It was an established Steven Gerrard and Carragher to an extent. I mean, what was the leadership like in the dressing room for you at the time?
You say that, I was only 20. I was only 22 and he was 19. Yeah. So he's still young.
Still young.
So, but you can see little bits like he's a leader. He wants to be the leader out on there. He was the one in midfield, marshalling it. Even though he wasn't the captain, he took over captaincy a bit later on. But you can see the leadership in him there. Obviously, came through England with him as well. And as J-Mo said, then you start to see the ability to maybe manage, maybe coach. I thought Jamie Carragher, like him, I thought Jamie Carragher was the one. You could ask Jamie Carragher about any different league. He'll tell you about a player, what foot, this, that, everything. So he was a student of the game.
Yeah. Did it ever get irritating, Carragher talking?
No, I mean, again, the thing is, my era, when I signed for this club, it was a legacy of success that we had sort of were trying to continue. Gerard Houllier coming into the club fundamentally changed things, and the likes of Stevie G, the likes of Cara and Michael Owen coming through the academy at the time. I mean, they didn't have the setup that they have now. It was all new. Stevie Highway was a major factor on that, but it was like they knew the game. We didn't. I say this respectfully, but we just used to play the game. They understood how to play the game, and there was a massive difference. So, just say, listen to Stevie, listen to even Michael. When you listen to him, some people find Michael difficult to listen to because he's so technical. Speaks about, like Em said, he's 20 years old, same age as Stevie G and Cara, but Cara was just like, this is what I think, and it wasn't opinionated, it was knowledge. Yeah, which is a difference. Some people have big opinions without the knowledge. These guys have a lot of knowledge. So
you're a bit more reserved than JMO, but who talks more, Carragher or David James? Who talks more? Because I'm going to let the audience in a little story. Before we were ready to record, we were here, Emil, myself and Robbie Fowler, we were literally watching David James saunter down, stopping to talk to everybody. Robbie Fowler said, oh yeah, he's gonna be a while. So who talks more?
I'll say Cara because JMO's here.
Fair enough, fair enough. Okay. What about that generation of England players now heading into management? Now, firstly, that makes me feel old. You're in management. You're in management. Wayne Rooney's over in Derby, and I think he's probably got the toughest challenge of all, given the points deduction and the ownership and all sorts of issues. We got Steven Gerrard here today, and of course the success he achieved at Rangers. And then there's Frank Lampard, who just missed out on getting promotion for Derby. And then at Chelsea, you could see that the foundation was laid there with Thomas Tuchel to take them to success, the European Cup, and of course, finishing in the top 4. So who's impressed you the most so far?
Well, it's interesting you bring up Wayne Rooney, because Wayne Rooney as a player, and again, talking to Wayne Rooney after games, and you would think, I thought he understood the game so well.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Jamie Carragher was going to be a manager, and Wayne Rooney was going to be a coach. Now, he could be a head coach and therefore in charge of a team, of course. So him going to Derby wasn't a surprise, whether it was Derby or not. It wasn't a surprise that, even though they're bottom of the league, they're actually doing really well. I think they'd be in the top half of the table, if not in the top 6, if you gave them back their 20-odd points they've had deducted, because he understands the game. And the question for Wayne Rooney would always be, has he got the management skill to be able to get the team to do what he wants, even if he's got the tactical knowledge to be able to get the team to perform? And that's where the crossover becomes the issue. So I think Wayne's probably done the best. Stevie, as I say, doing well at Rangers. It's not to take anything away from Stevie or even Frank Lampard with Derby. Wayne's been put in a tough position, can't spend money, hasn't got the lure of a football club like Rangers would have in Scotland. And now Steve's at Aston Villa. Well, in January, Steve is going to find it a lot easier recruiting players if he needs to than what's happening there.
Oh. Don't worry, it's okay. It's okay.
Worried then. So yeah, I'd say Wayne Rooney's probably doing the best at the moment.
I think as well, when you're talking about when you're talking about Wayne Rooney, he's probably the best suited for that position that he's in there, because where he's come from, he's rough, backs against the wall, and he'll never give up. Will he? He'll keep fighting through it and find answers to problems that come up. So, like you're saying, people won't know the knowledge that Wayne has in his head about football. But it's about getting the right team around you to get that out of your head as well, because again, we talk about coaching, and I've been with coaches that are have been good players, and they expect players to do exactly what they were doing. I've been with coaches who'll go, like, get the ball like this and go ping it over there, and they'll do it, not understanding that some of these players can't do it. Now you need to break it down, you need to slow it down and educate them a little bit more.
But how is he as a communicator? Because all I have to go with, I've never worked with Wayne Rooney, all I have to go with is the interviews he gives pre-match, post-match, or during some specials on TV. When he's talking one-on-one, do you fully grasp what he's trying to get across? Clearly.
Yeah, but I get him, and that was the point. I got this from when I was playing with him in England. I always say this about management. No managing style is wrong It just depends what change room you've got.
Yeah.
So I'll take it to an extreme, but if you've got a bully kind of manager, it's fine if you've got a load of change room players or players in the change room who want to be bullied or need to be bullied. Whereas if you want to put your arm around people, it's not going to work in that environment. So if you can get the players, and again, where Wayne Rooney doesn't have the options because he can't go into the transfer market, he's got to be able to get the best out of whatever he's got in front of him. Once you've got the money behind you to bring in the players that suit your managerial style, then you got a better chance of getting it. But Wayne one-on-one is great. The problem with one-on-one is it takes a lot of time, and if you're in a training environment where you haven't got time, then you need to be able to speak to multiple people quickly. I'm not saying Wayne can't do this, but I just think that there are better coaches out there, and it just seems that Wayne has got the right formula at the moment.
Yeah.
The position in the league might not look it, but you take those deductions away, they're doing very well.
When will we see either of you in the Premier League managing?
Never.
Never?
Because we will never get the chance.
Why not? Goalkeeper thing?
Well, I mean, I've put in my CV in a number of clubs.
Yeah.
Including some ex-clubs. I think Aston Villa might have been one of them. And got a couple of responses back. Even Watford, my former club, who I wrote a nice email to, didn't even reply to me. And I don't know if that's an administration thing, but basically just don't get the chances.
Because I've spoken in Malaysia, I think it was in Malaysia, with Sol Campbell about this, and he's spoken very vocally about, look at his experience and his CV, it speaks for itself, but he's not given these opportunities, whereas other, you would say, newbie managers are.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? I'm on the path. These are all pro-licensed coaches. I'm getting my A, so I'm on that pathway that they've been on already done. We're hoping that that channel will start to open up. Well, we don't want to give up, but at times you start to think, is it there for us?
Yeah, the one thing I will say in defence of the system is that in England there's only 90 professional clubs, and there's over, I don't know, 2,000–3,000 English qualified coaches to manage those clubs already. So it's not like that there's loads of jobs available and we can't get them in that sense. It's a difficult industry to get into. I won't stop trying to get in a position. It's just when the opportunity arises. I mean, you know, managing in Leicester with the women's team, you know, that's a step on the ladder in England, man. That's well done.
One game, one win.
100% record.
100% record.
I'm going to be his number 2.
Okay. I'll look out the dynamic duo of the two of you. That'll be an amazing sight to see. Okay, gentlemen, we are going to make our way to the seats, getting more and more soaked out here. So we'll wrap it up. Leave a comment below. Who do you think will prove to be the greatest success from that golden generation of English players as they head into management? As old as that may make you feel, we would love to hear your comments. This is Adam, Emil, and Jamo signing off.